So what is the actual time? Are we 5 minutes?
Nope, we're good. And we're almost there, Nat. Hello, everybody. My name is Nicola Rodriguez, and I'm coming to you from a different kind of better. And normally you're used to hearing Lynn Weems come from Canada, but today we're actually coming from Brisbane, Australia. And I'm actually really blessed to have our guest today because I am so excited to introduce to you Kerrie McDonald. Now, she's affectionately known as the Emotion Alchemist. She's a committed holistic healer, an educator, spiritual development teacher, a mentor, speaker, author, also does women's circle facilitating, which I think is amazing. And she's also an inspirational leader. So Kerrie is a qualified Reiki master and practitioner, a crystal healer practitioner and teacher, and she also holds aroma Zen classes, which are just, I must say from personal experience, absolutely beautiful. So Kerrie, welcome. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Lovely to be here. Thank you so much.
Yay. It's pretty exciting. I love that dream catcher there behind you today. It's amazing.
One of my gorgeous students created that for me.
Absolutely beautiful. So today we wanted to talk about some Reiki, and I know there are a lot of people who know what Reiki is, but what is a Reiki master?
A Reiki master. It's a good question. So a Reiki master is someone who has, in essence, actually committed their life to living Reiki. And what do I mean by that? As we go along the journey of learning Reiki, at each level we're committing just that little bit more. So Reiki becomes a way of life. So to actually qualify as a Reiki master, we've gone through different levels of learning over a set period of time. But, you know, more than anything for me, it's a commitment to Reiki as a way of life.
So it's not just a weekend thing, right?
No, the training can be, you know, a lot. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of masters actually teach each level of Reiki over one day. I myself find that impossible because, you know, for me, learning Reiki or teaching Reiki is more than just learning the process. It's a way of coming into who you are and, you know, working with stuff that's going on in your life from a different perspective.
Okay, fair enough. And so how long have you been doing this?
Geez, I'm looking at that the other day. 7 years now, which by the scheme of things for a lot of other practitioners is not a long time, but my God, literally changed my life. Yeah.
So why did you get into Reiki?
Okay, so a lot of people say, you know, they found Reiki. Well, Reiki found me.
Okay.
I had some pretty dark things going on in my life back in 2012. And that's when I actually did my training in counselling. So during that time, I needed to reach out for a session. And when I got to this particular session with my tutor, she took one look at me and she's gone, right, you on the table. And then when she's finished, I can remember saying to her, what was that? So from there, she introduced me to her Reiki master, and as they say, the rest is history. So I've had some pretty mind-blowing, I suppose is one way of putting it, but amazing things happen along the way, which convinced me that this was my life from here forward.
Isn't that amazing? It's normally when we experience something that we really understand what it is. So for those who don't really understand what Reiki is, I've heard people say that, you know, they Reiki their food, they Reiki their water, they Reiki. What exactly is Reiki?
It's a form of energy healing. So when people say they Reiki their food, what they're actually doing is blessing their food. Okay. Yeah, if that makes sense. So I love children are the most divine to actually work with here because, you know, showing them simple techniques like that and, you know, sending Reiki to their water and sending Reiki to, you know, their animals and everything else from there. So it's a form
of giving thanks, would you say?
That's one way of describing it. It's a form of energy healing. So the Reiki healer is not actually healing you, They are facilitating a session for you where they channel universal life force through them to you. And here's the deal. It will work, but it works to the degree that the person that is the recipient will be prepared to open their heart and receive and also do their share of the work. It's not a magic wand. It's not a magic pill.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people looking for that magic pill, right?
Exactly.
So how long is a session?
It can vary. For children, a session will be 15 to 20 minutes. One of the things there, I believe, it's because they're tinier, your hands over them cover more areas, but they tend not to have been through as much in their lives either. So, it can vary up to an hour and a half, depending. So for me, I don't like to put a time frame on a session because, if I say, yes, a session is 60 minutes for argument's sake, and I get to 60 minutes and I go, I'm not finished. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop, So Reiki energy will go wherever it's needed.
I love that. So it's not just about, the session time's over, let's finish.
No.
You actually really indulge in your clients and make sure that they have exactly what they need before they leave.
Exactly. One of the first questions I ask them when they come in, are they on a time frame? Yeah. So that we can address that. And, if there is something going on in the background, they're not sort of thinking, I need to get out of here. Relax into it and, receive.
And so you say clients come in, but do you have clients who can be global? Can this be
for sure.
distance healing as well?
Yeah, I've got clients on the other side of Australia, in America, down in Tasmania. So, it can be sent via distance. So to do that, we actually set up a time frame. We can actually do it on Zoom like we are now, on Skype, simply over the phone. I can set it up at a time frame, say for argument's sake, you're going to bed at 10 o'clock tonight over in, it's up the opposite way around, but, at that time frame when you're going to be relaxed. So I would not send Reiki at distance if someone's going to be behind the wheel.
Yes. Okay. So you make sure that they're definitely relaxed, they're in a safe environment.
Right, exactly.
So that they can feel the healing and not relax behind the car. And
So the interesting thing is, Nicola, a lot of people have been focused with Reiki in the past on, food, their animals themselves. But one of the things I've found in particular that people have actually neglected is the fact that Reiki can actually be sent to a circumstance.
Oh, interesting.
So if you've got something going on or, someone else has got something going on in their lives, and this is where it worked really well for me. So I've got to say here, it is my belief that Reiki saved my life.
Okay, yeah.
And it was really that particular point in my life where a lot of stuff was happening. So I would settle into a session and actually send Reiki to that circumstance. So what you're literally doing is sending love, sending healing.
That's
to all the parties and but the caveat is it's not for us to determine how long that's going to take to resolve.
Yes,
because in a circumstance it can be a number of different souls involved and their preparedness to resolve that as well. But I know for a fact it will work.
Nice. So is this affordable for people to, go along to or to get a distance healing from?
Yeah, I believe it really is. So here in Australia, I charge $120 for a session. I actually look after people who have, financial issues at the moment. So, with the session going for anything up to at times 2 hours, I feel that is really affordable.
And that's pretty much, a general, that's really a general price. That's pretty much all over the energy sort of sector at the moment. And with everything happening at the moment around the world, it seems that a lot more people are reaching out about the energy healing and looking for alternatives. So how many sessions would somebody need?
I strongly advise people in the first instance to actually, schedule in 3 sessions.
Yeah.
And because my opinion is, or my belief is, that as we're healing, it's like that, we often say that onion, it's like different layers of it. So you'll find that there's this settling and this healing of a different part, and then a different part, and then a different part. So, people have come to me for so many different things. I've got a dear friend who is also an author, had a bit of mental block at the time. So what I get my clients to do is, when a session is starting, I get them to set an intention for what they want out of that session. So, they're, by doing that, they're actually engaging in their part of the contract.
Yeah.
So with this particular friend, for her, it was getting the book finished. She was on a timeline. And what she said to me is, when she got home, it was like, bang, 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 and it was done and it was over. So it cleared away those blockages. And, sometimes we don't need to know what it is that's clearing.
Yes. And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't know what exactly we need help with. We just don't feel great.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like you said, having those 3 sessions, the first one, even just as human beings, we have barriers and we have walls. And even though we want that healing and we know it's going to help us, we still hold that little bit of a barrier.
Exactly.
And so having those 3 sessions would be great to be able to get really in depth by that second, third session.
Yeah. And what I normally say to my clients then is, just be mindful of how you're feeling. And because life happens to us on a daily basis, and especially the last 4 months have been very interesting. It's a really good way of describing it, I think. But, be mindful of where you're at and how you're feeling, and take the responsibility yourself to actually book in. So a lot of my clients actually end up coming to me to learn the art of Reiki.
And I must say, I've been along to one of your Aroma Zen classes.
Yeah.
And I can understand when you say to observe how you feel, because I remember, when I was getting there, I was running a little bit late. So I was, that little bit flustered of getting there on time, traffic. And then by the end of it, I'm not sure if I even had a little bit of a snooze in there, but I felt so relaxed and so amazing afterwards. It is, you don't want to just rush out that door and jump back into life. You want to really embrace that feeling. It's just incredible how much the change can happen in that short space of time.
Exactly. So Nicola, the thing is, as women in particular, life has changed so much over the last even 50 years. And, most of the women today are actually, they're working, they're looking after families, they're doing everything, and they give. And it's that time to stop and receive.
And it's something that I suppose is hard for some of us women, because we sit there and that's our nurturing nature, right? Is to be that mother and to be that giving. And if we're giving to ourselves, we're taking it away from our kids or our partner, and we feel that little bit guiltiness. But I must say that, once you learn to start putting yourself forward, incredible things happen, don't they?
Exactly. And, for women in particular, we're that hand that rocks the cradle. Yeah. So when we are more at peace with ourselves and, calm, that has that domino effect on the family. And that's the interesting thing as well, through Reiki healing, as you continue down this path and do healing with whatever modality you choose, as you heal parts of yourself, you're actually lifting everyone else up. And that's what I love about it.
So what, in the lines of that, what other things, what can it help? Like if I was, does it help with sort of like some headaches or some physical pains? Like what sort of symptoms would, I'd be able to say, you know what, I think that Reiki really could help with this.
Yes. So stress reduction, number one. Just to give you an example, one of the things I've got to say here is, as a practitioner, we all need to be very mindful to encourage our clients to stay on any medication, stay in touch with their doctors, do all of that. Yeah. And as they go down the journey, what I actually advise my clients to do if they're on medication is just be mindful and watch for any changes, because what can happen, it works beautifully with other healing practices and the medications. So for argument's sake, my husband originally, his warfarinized will be for life. He was on 5.5 milligrams of warfarin daily. Wow. And then over a period of time, as I introduced Reiki, we've now got that down to 3 milligrams.
Awesome. So it's
So,
just about the balance, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, chemicals in our body like that, yes, they've got a place, they've got a job. However, something like that, the less amount in there to get the end result is far better for the person involved. So, you know, that's just one area. People who, so one, excuse me, one of my clients very early on came to me and she said, it's time I took some time out for me, but my husband and I are ready to start a family, but it's not happening. And to be quite frank, she said she hadn't had a period in 12 months.
Yeah.
And she'd actually taken the commitment to herself to actually book in a session every week. She's in a high-level stress position, managing a beauty parlour.
And stress is a big thing when you're trying to get pregnant. There's a lot, and even the stress of trying to get pregnant is
exactly. So she came back the following week and she's gone, oh my God. I've gone, what? She's gone, I've had my period.
Oh,
after 18 months of nothing. So I can remember saying to her, you know, wow, are you really serious about having this baby? Because if this is going to work like this for you, you're obviously engaged in it. And yeah, she actually had a baby in a very, it was within the next 12 months after that. And it just absolutely made their lives, you know. Some of the other things on a different side of things, I had a client down in the Hunter Valley who I'd never met before. She came in and she said to me, so I'm 22 weeks and 4 days pregnant. I've gone, oh, okay, so tell me more. She said, this is our 4th pregnancy and we haven't had a baby yet.
Oh.
And this is one of those times where I actually was guided before I even left, like universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, will set things up ready for you. So I'm packing up to go down and, you know, one of my crystals is screaming out at me and I'm going, really? You know, because I was taking crystals down for my mum. And this particular crystal was a piece of jewelry. And when I placed that on her tummy, she's gone, oh my God, baby loves that. And to cut a long story short, that, you know, a few things there we spoke about, but she actually gave birth on my mum's birthday.
Wow. Isn't that
and they
amazing?
now have a beautiful, bouncing, very healthy, strong baby boy. Well, he's now 3 years old. So, you know, some of the other areas, some of the hospitals in Australia's been pretty slow at taking this up. America's a lot forward, but, you know, introducing Reiki into hospitals. So a friend of mine had an inoperable tumour behind his knee, and they'd actually given him a brochure at the hospital in Adelaide on the benefits of Reiki during chemo.
Isn't that beautiful? Because that, like you said, you know, it's not just about one thing.
Exactly. So, you know, like the warfarin, it can actually reduce the impact of, you know, those side effects of the chemo. And one of the things I've got to say here as well is that, you know, healing is not always just about healing the body.
Yes, I was about to ask you that, because it seems to be a lot of our physical issues come from emotional blockages to start with.
Exactly. So sometimes for people like our beautiful friend from Adelaide, you know, we come to this earth with a time limit. And, you know, things will happen if things like, you know, cancer will come in. Sometimes it's actually about healing their soul to bring peace into their life, to give them that beautiful transition. And this was, you know, coming back to my dad here, this was exactly where I knew that I'd not only be practicing Reiki for life, but I would be teaching it. And you know, my dad, we got a message on a Monday night really late to say that he'd gone to hospital again. It was really bad. You know, travelled down, asked for permission to stay with him overnight and channeled all night. By lunchtime the following day, they said that they'd have to start palliative care and that Dad would float like this for a minimum of a week, but more than likely 2 to 3 weeks. And just staying in. So what Reiki taught me to do was to stay in my heart space. And, you know, the history between Dad and I had been, shall I say, rocky. And, you know, in that moment at the end, to be able to stay in your heart space for this person that had, you know, provided the best he could for you all his life. And, you know, it was 4 o'clock that afternoon, and I channeled for about 20 minutes and just felt the need to leave the room. Before I could come back to the room, Dad had passed away.
Yeah.
With ease and grace.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Peace.
Like I said, it's healing the soul. And
exactly.
And because, you know, our physical body's our physical body, but there's so much more going on in the inside, in our heads and in our souls, and just, you know, all that craziness flying around inside. So I also, who do you hope to help doing this? I know, like, you've been able to help your family, your dad, your husband, and things like that. What do you really like about helping others with this?
Okay, so my vision is to actually activate a healer in every home. As my children were growing up, you know, I come out of a different time frame. You know, we're brought up with that children should be seen and not heard, and, you know, suck it up, princess, get over it, all of that sort of thing. So there was not a lot of not a lot of focus
put. Emotions, did we?
Yeah, there was no focus. It was like, you know, men don't cry or boys don't cry, that style of thing, you know. So, you know, my dad, my mum, with everything that happened over the years, they were doing the very best they knew how, and so was I. Now, as you know, as time has gone by, what I feel is that a lot of that head knowledge that we've had in the past, it's like mind over matter, you know, it's dropped into our heart space, and we're coming from that from a different perspective. So I know for a fact, if I'd have had this available to me when I was a young mum, and, you know, my kids were growing up, that things would have been so much different. There would have been so much less pain created for so many, without going into a lot. So I believe in actually treating mothers and teaching children. What my goal is to actually work towards having that next generation being raised with the love in their hearts.
So you say teaching children, so not just adults can learn Reiki, so children can learn Reiki as well. It's not actually age specific where you...
No. Okay. Actually, in some respects, I think children have more of a preparedness to embrace this. It makes sense to them. You know, I've had my grandchildren come in here and pick up my oils or pick up my crystals or play my crystal bowls. And, you know, as each of them they've come in, they now, when something new comes, they go, oh, is this vibrational medicine too, Grandma?
So can they actually become a Reiki like master, or can they get some certificates to say that they
do? Yeah. So at Reiki 1, they do the exact same training, only it's more condensed for them at their level. So when I teach children, I teach them with a book where they'll colour in, they'll bring the crystals out, they'll create their own grids. It actually has been known to help a lot of children who are on the spectrum. And this is where my love for this came from. Very early on, this beautiful young woman, she was 9 at the time, and 2 days later, her mum sent me a message. She's gone, oh my God, thank you, I have got my daughter back. And what a lot of parents have actually reported to me is that what learning Reiki has done for them is give them a mechanism, give them a way to actually self-regulate.
Yeah.
And this is so important. It's really so important. So this particular young girl, she came back at the beginning of 2018, when her mother was doing her Reiki 2, which is the practitioner level, and she came back and did it with her.
Oh,
so at 11 years old, mind you, she's a very different 11-year-old, she was actually qualified to do a Reiki session on URI and charge you for it. And she was
amazing, because now we're coming into the world of entrepreneurs, right? There's so many kids out there who are already starting their own businesses, and so to be able to really embrace your emotions and be able to teach your friends and your parents and other family members, because like you said, kids are already intuitive, right?
They are. It hasn't been, you know, this pushed down. You know, a lot of times in the past, it's like, oh, don't worry, he's got his imaginary friend over there. Well, you know what? They are seeing things.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think a lot of parents forget to realize is that, you know, we try to hold a marriage together, or we try to hold, you know, that we're stressed at work, and we try to hold it all together for our kids and try not to show those, but they pick up on our energy. They pick up on
They
the
do.
vibrations, and they can see when we're stressed.
Yes.
And for themselves, they don't know how to help.
They don't.
Yeah.
And, you know, this particular young lass, I can remember when she was coming in to do the practitioner training, her mum said, so how's things going at school? And she said, I haven't got a lot of friends. I'll go and, you know, if I see someone struggling in the playground, I'll go and give them a little bit of Reiki. She said, if my teacher's having a bad day, I'll go and give her a bit of Reiki. But this was the clunker. She said, but you know what, Mum? I'll find my tribe one day.
Isn't that beautiful to be able to be that young and see
Yeah.
that? Because once we hit the school and we hit high school, there's so much pressure about, you know, having the friends and fitting in.
Yeah.
It becomes, you know, really stressful and can cause really bad, you know, down the line effects for kids.
Exactly. And on the topic of stress, Nicola, one of the other places or ways Reiki can help people is by doing energy clearings in a home. Now, we've all experienced that time of walking into a room and going, oh my God, what's happened here?
Yes, I have experienced that before. You're right.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, you feel that energy in the room. You don't necessarily know it.
Yeah.
So by actually setting up a session where you do an energy clearing on the home or a business can make so much difference. My mum's place was on the market for 5 months. Absolutely nothing. Got that inclination that I needed to do an energy clearing, and within a week we had a 5-day contract of a 4-week contract.
Isn't that amazing?
On the home.
And because you can feel that when, and it's the same as when, you know, you're around people. It's like that, you know, energy when you walk in the room, it either kind of drops really badly, or you actually, you know, get excited about being there. So Reiki's not just for a human, it's for everything in life.
Exactly.
For your food, for your water, for absolutely everything, your home, your children. So it's very versatile.
It is very versatile, and it's such an easy modality to learn and to facilitate for your clients. You know, I think for me, the biggest thing is that ability to be able to drop into your heart space. You know, working with my clients, I don't need to know their story. They don't need to tell me everything that's gone on. It's a matter of actually getting in there and just listening, feeling what's going on in their body and where to place your hands and work with. The thing is, and you will understand this, Nicola, we go through life and, as you say, we hold so much in, and I paint a picture for people with, you know, holding your hands sort of just under your rib cage, and it's like you're holding it down, you're holding it down, you're holding it down, holding it all in. And when you're doing that, you're not free to, you know, move around and do things. The thing is, though, medical science is actually proving this now as well, and they're actually proving that Reiki works as well, which is beautiful. But they're proving that, you know, as we move on in life and we don't deal with our emotions and they stay trapped in our body, this is where the disease comes from. Your body's in dis-ease.
Yes.
So, you know, just to use an example, my mum over the years with Dad always suffered from urinary tract infections. And there's a correlation between, you know, what's happening and what's going on. I can remember reading to her out of Louise Hay's book, you know, pissed off. And she said, oh, I wouldn't be pissed off with your dad. But it's so subtle. But it's like
interesting where those terms come from, right?
Exactly.
They originated from where it's created.
Created, exactly. You know, people say, oh, I'm livid with them. Well, that's what they're affecting. Their liver, you know, what a gall, you know, you're staying in anger, you know. So Reiki, we work by 5 precepts, and that to me, they're like rules. Just for today, I will not anger. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will honor my parents and my teachers. And, you know, so these precepts become a way of life. And, you know, when you find yourself worrying, I usually keep a poster up somewhere, or especially with children, I say to them, you know, Mum, put the poster in their room, anchor back in. Okay, what am I doing worrying about? I'm wasting energy on something that I can't change.
And we seem to all do that, don't we? I mean,
And yeah, but when we don't worry, we then buy into, you know, it's that law of attraction thing.
yeah,
What you're worrying about, you're actually drawing in. When you let go of it, you're actually coming to the world with more joy, more love, more peace, more harmony.
that's absolutely beautiful.
And that, you know, I'd rather live my life that way than to worry, you know, and encourage my clients and my students to do the same, you know. So yeah, it literally.
So we've definitely answered the question if Reiki is good for you. I mean, it doesn't matter what's going on for you, because
Exactly.
like you said, it's a whole body experience. It's not just about, you know, a physical thing or just about a mindset thing. It's the whole entire embodiment of mind, body, and spirit. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. So you have your own business. It's Alchemy for Life. Is that correct?
Exactly. And I created Alchemy for Life as a safe place to actually treat my clients, but to also teach. I have a studio at home here, which is absolutely amazing. It's my little sanctuary.
I must say, it's from personal experience, it is very mind-blowing. I've never seen so many crystals in my life, even at a crystal shop.
Oh, you know, the children really love it. It's a way, you know, I'll often have people come in, you know, parents, when they bring their children in, when I'm teaching them, and it's like, oh, yeah, Johnny, just listen to Kerrie. Just leave them alone. They're fine. They're taking it in. And, you know, it'll blow parents' minds by the end of the day. They go, oh, but Kerrie said, or,
yeah.
And it appeared like they weren't listening, but they were.
Yeah. So you've also got 14 beautiful grandchildren as well. So I know you were saying before, like when you were, you know, going through life, we only know what we know and we do the best that we can do in that point in time. And as we're growing, we learn. So now that you've got these 14 incredible grandchildren, is that something that you're doing with them as well? Like being able to bring that love and that healer into their homes?
Exactly. So, you know, the grandchildren all love getting on the Reiki table. They're just out to it so quickly, where parents will say, you know, oh, he's so hyped up or whatever, get over to grandma's. But I've actually attuned several of them as well to Reiki. But it's something with children in particular, it's got to be something that the parents will embrace the same way. And you know, the big rule for me where Reiki is concerned is there's free will.
Yeah.
You know, and we have free will whether we stay stuck where we are or whether we move forward. Yeah. There are only a couple of rules in Reiki, and that is that one, having free will, but we never ever work on a bone that's broken that hasn't been reset. Because if you actually send energy to that, you can actually start it healing and knitting in its misalignment. Yeah. And that's the last thing that you want for anyone, you know. And also, you know, honoring the space for people. It's so, so important. So it's not just anyone that can go and, you know, learn Reiki and do it. For me, moving forward, that vision of actually activating a healer in every home, that's not something I can do personally. I can't go out and do that. So I'm in the process at the moment of hand selecting the most amazing practitioners who are ready to engage in that vision and be a big part of that. So, you know, the more practitioners that get out there, the more masters that get out there and actually teach that way, the closer we come to that vision. So, you know,
I think that's what I heard from you before, is when you were saying that you can go and get that master's and do just that one-day course, but it's so full on, you're not really embedding it into your soul.
Exactly.
You're actually teaching it over a time where people can really be in depth with it and really understand it and understand if it's really for them too, right? Because sometimes we might find that, you know, we love it being done to us and we think that we want to be a teacher in that, and then we realize that actually some of us do want to teach, some of us don't want to teach.
Look, Nicola, it's like this. There are about, I think, about 4 million practitioners globally today.
Wow.
But there are about 60,000 Reiki masters.
Yeah.
So not every Reiki master will teach. Sometimes doing that learning with Reiki is more about your own soul healing, your own healing journey. And, I've had, actually every master I've taught so far has said to me, no, won't be teaching. I'll send them to you. But now, after a period of a couple of years and embracing it and it's like the hand will come up, I'm ready. Can you fit me in next week to do this? It is that. It's like I've made up my mind. I want to do it now. I want to get on with it.
That's beautiful. I love that. It's all about our own individual journeys. So,
exactly.
So somebody can come to you and have a Reiki session, and then they can also come to you and learn Reiki as well. Yep. So what's the best way for somebody to get in contact with you if they're interested in doing that?
At the moment, I'm working on getting my website up. So at the moment, it's through the Facebook page, Alchemy for Life.
And we'll post all these details on this as well.
Yeah. That is the easiest way. Maybe even send me a personal friend request. Sometimes messages can get a little bit lost in Facebook as well.
Interesting world, Facebook.
Yes, it is, isn't it? So inside there, I do run regular Aroma Zen sessions that are purely for women.
Okay. So you share all of your upcoming classes that you have, all your healing. I know the Aroma Zen is absolutely amazing. I can speak from experience, and I would recommend anybody who is in the Brisbane area to go along to one of them because it is well worth it. But you're actually sharing all of those events on your Alchemy for Life page so people can find those.
Yes, for sure. And I do some other short courses. There are some more coming up. I'm working on a coaching program at the moment that'll be a healing journey through the chakras and, building that foundation and then working through over a period of about 7 months.
And kids classes. Are you promoting kids classes, or is that just something that's personal if somebody asks if you could help their child?
No, I tend to teach the children's classes through the school holidays. Right. And it has a win-win sort of scenario. It's an activity for the children, to keep them occupied. So I offer it before and after Christmas and then during the other school holidays.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's a one-day course.
Right? And just trying to squeeze it in after school.
Yeah. I have considered actually breaking it down and doing it, a couple of hours here and a couple of hours here. But I'm feeling like that might work better for some of the older children. So the children I've had as young as 6.
Yeah. Excellent.
And they are absolutely incredible. I mean, the wisdom and the insight that will come out from these little ones is just amazing. They'll pick up a stone and they'll go, oh, this feels like...
Isn't that beautiful? And I think it's because the world hasn't taken them over yet. They haven't.
Exactly.
They haven't, some of the children at that age have been through a lot of darkness, but it's also, as you said, the older we get, we seem to experience a lot more things, and it's a lot harder to let go.
Yeah. So for me, Nicola, the more we can work with the younger people like that and get them going down that path as a way of life, the less the risk of them getting dug down into the depths of heavy emotions and things like that, I believe. So,
and it's a ripple effect, right? It doesn't just happen to them. The more people who are embracing love in their hearts and actually sharing it out, the more the vibration of the world changes.
Exactly. And they're proving that just recently with the World Meditation Day, the resonance, it just went through the roof when there was this focused energy. So one of the other things that I do as well is that I've pulled together a council of practitioners I've trained with, and we support each other and our families and friends through, really quite heavy things that are going on in their life. Just recently, a beautiful friend of mine owns a local coffee shop, and with COVID shut down, she got word that her mum was really ill, and of course, you can't just hop on a plane and go down.
No, yes, there's a lot of people who are going through a lot of emotional turmoil.
Exactly. So I can remember saying to her, you know, would you like me to put a request into the group? And she said, oh, yes, please. So with that, with someone we don't know, that's that can actually tap into their energy, where they live. And anyway, I didn't see her for a couple of weeks. And I said, how's your mum? She said, oh, I've been meaning to call you. Dad rang me the next day and she said, I don't know what happened to your mother, but she's so much better.
Oh,
and it's like, you know that you've actually done something worthwhile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
And then as you go, the ripple effect. Yeah.
It just, even I've got goosebumps even just thinking, it's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I'm so blessed to have been able to have you on here today and be able to speak about Reiki. And so people can understand a little bit more in depth about what it is, and that it's not just an adult thing, that we can start at such a young age and start changing the world and the way that they perceive it. Because like you said, being raised to toughen up and to be raised not to cry and to not show your emotions causes so many more physical, you know, issues when we get older because we're holding it in. So it's great to be able to teach out at a young age and start letting it go.
Exactly. And, you know, I've focused a lot in what I've shared with you around women. You know, please, please, please understand that it's not just a female thing either. I do have male clients. However, you know, oftentimes there's more of a preparedness from women to, you know, do something.
And I'm sure there's a lot of men who are, you know, Reiki masters and that.
Oh, there are. There are. And they're amazing. I've actually taught a couple myself, and wow. So, you know, I've had the privilege of actually teaching one doctor so far. So, you know, part of my vision, can you imagine actually, you know, having to go for surgery where you've got practitioners in the room that are working from that space?
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to have surgery myself in 2018 and contacted, this is where I actually created this council. And that surgery went from being told it was going to be 4.5 to 6.5 hours to the surgeon coming out and going, I can't understand. I can't work out. That was so easy. And I can remember going, "Buh," you know, because you get so excited about it. And he's gone, oh, well, I suppose I've learned something today.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was 82 minutes.
Wow.
It's, you know, it's a possibility, Nicola. It's not a promise, it's a possibility.
Yes. And just like anything, you know, it's like they say the placebo effect, right? If you don't believe in something wholeheartedly, I mean, somebody could come in and be completely open-hearted and have an amazing result. And whereas somebody comes in with their walls up, they don't believe it's going to work, they're just all negative, they're not going to get the same results.
Exactly. And the opposite can be, someone can come in and they can be verbally saying to you, blah, 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 blah. But at the soul level, they're not ready to let go of whatever as well. So that's where those multiple sessions with someone will come in.
I think that's absolutely beautiful. And we're going to pop your contact details down and also the link to your Facebook page, Alchemy for Life. For anybody who is listening in over Canada tonight or here in Australia this morning or wherever you are, we really appreciate you tuning in today. This is Kerrie McDonald. She's from she is the Emotion Alchemist. And definitely somebody to reach out to if you feel that you need just that little bit of peace and love in your life.
Thank you. It's been a privilege being here.
We are very, very blessed and very excited. So thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for the privilege.
We'll definitely put those details down for anybody and they can reach out to you through your Facebook group, personal message or friend request you. So
lovely.
We'll put those details up shortly.
Thank you. Have an awesome weekend.
Bye.